This lecture is for Chemistry in the Earth System, Unit 1.2, Thermochemistry. Today's essential question is, what is the relationship between a system and its surroundings? What is the relationship between a system and its surroundings? Our first main idea, conversion of energy. Conversion of energy. When an exothermic reaction releases energy, people might describe the reaction as producing energy. Likewise, an endothermic reaction does not destroy the energy it absorbs. Energy can be transformed from one form into another, but it cannot be created or destroyed during chemical and physical changes. For exothermic reactions, the chemical energy that is stored in the bonds of the reactants is transformed into thermal energy that makes the surrounding matter warmer. Sometimes chemical energy changes into light energy, which happens when you make or you light a glow stick. The opposite happens during an endothermic reaction. Thermal energy, or even light energy, is transformed into chemical energy that is stored in the bonds of the products. Energy is often transformed to a useful form of energy, but usually some energy also becomes a less useful form. Energy is transformed from one useful form into another useful form in a car engine, when the energy released by burning gasoline is transformed into kinetic energy. However, not all the thermal energy released by the reaction makes the car move. Some of the thermal energy also heats the parts. Random click. Let's go back. Some of the thermal energy also heats the parts of the engine, which is why the hood of a car that has just been driven feels warm. In this case, the transformation to thermal energy that heats the car parts is not a useful transformation. People may say that some of the released energy is lost during combustion, but this does not mean it was destroyed. The, quote, lost energy changed to a form of energy that was not useful for making a car run. In addition to being transformed from one form to another, energy can be transported from one place to another and transferred between systems. This movement of energy is what makes your hand warm when you touch the hood of a car when an exothermic combustion reaction, like fire, is happening in the engine. The statement that energy can be transferred or transformed, but is neither created nor destroyed during chemical and physical changes, is the first law of thermodynamics. This law is also called the law of conservation of energy. Our next main idea, system versus surroundings. System versus surroundings. To get a more complete view of the energy changes associated with a chemical or a physical change, consider two regions. The system is the part of the part that's being studied. Everything outside of the system, meaning the part being studied, is considered the surroundings. A barrier separates the system's interconnected parts from its surroundings. When considering systems, we must consider if the system represented is an open, closed, or isolated system. In an open system, both mass and energy are exchanged with its surroundings. Matter can be added easily by adding spices to a cooking pot. Energy can be exchanged through heat and work, like turning up the heat on the cooking pot. In a closed system, energy is exchanged with its surroundings, but there is no transfer of mass. If one places a lid on the cooking pot, matter can no longer be added, but energy, in the form of heat, can still be added to the system. An isolated system is a system in which there is no transfer of mass or energy across the boundaries of the system. Real-world isolated systems are rare. One example of an isolated system is an insulated closed container. If hot liquid is poured into the container and the lid is placed on the container, there is no additional energy or mass being applied or transferred out of the system. Cooling an injury with an ice pack can help reduce swelling. Consider the ice pack as a system. Everything outside of the ice pack is its surroundings. The ice warms up and melts within the system because it absorbs energy from its surroundings. The injured leg and the air around the ice pack release energy to the system and are cooled. The total energy of the universe remains unchanged, which is consistent with the first law of thermodynamics. Our next main idea: from hot to cold. From hot to cold. Heat transfer occurs from the surroundings into a system during an endothermic change. Heat transfer occurs from the system to the surroundings during an exothermic change. In each case, thermal energy naturally moves from a warmer area to a cooler area during the change. This is just as the second law of thermodynamics would indicate. The second law of thermodynamics states that in any natural process, the total entropy of a system and its surrounding environment must increase. Energy transfer always favors a more stable state, meaning that the energy distribution becomes more uniform. In other words, the warmer parts become cooler and the cooler parts become warmer. For example, when hot water is poured into a cup, the water transfers heat to the cup until the cup and the water are the same temperature. The cup becomes warmer and the water becomes slightly cooler. In a closed system, the cup and the water would reach a stable state and no more transfer would occur between them. However, a cup sitting on a table is not in a closed system. It is in an open system. An open system allows the exchange of matter and energy with its surroundings. The system, including the cup and the water, will continue to transfer heat to the surrounding air until the cup and water inside it reach the same temperature as the air. Temperature, remember, is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in matter. The higher the temperature, the faster the particles move. It makes sense to think that energy moves from warm areas to cool ones. In other words, energy moves from an area where particles are moving quickly to an area where they are slower. But how does this heat transfer happen? Thermal energy will move from a high temperature object to a low temperature one. It will end with the objects being at the same temperature, according to the second law of thermodynamics. The total energy released by the warmer object will be the same as the total energy absorbed by the cooler one, according to the first law of thermodynamics. Heat transfer happens in three ways: through convection, radiation, and conduction. In convection, currents in air, water, and other fluids carry thermal energy from one place to another. These currents form as warmer fluids rise and cooler fluids sink. For example, a warm ocean current allows heat transfer between one part of the ocean and another. In radiation, energy travels as electromagnetic radiation. The radiation is in the form of visible or invisible light. For example, a red-hot stove burner transfers heat by radiating infrared and red light energy. In conduction, heat transfer occurs between a higher temperature object and a lower temperature object that are in contact with each other. The thermal energy is transferred directly through the collisions of the moving particles. For example, heat transfer takes place when you put your cold feet in on a hot water bottle. At this point, you should be able to construct a full and appropriate response to today's essential question: what is the relationship between a system and its surroundings?